Welcome back to the Sidetrack Sport Podcast. Welcome to episode 4, where I am joined by Rukiah, who is studying sport business and law at UCFB, but she's also a content creator and presenter and has a big passion for football. So Rukiah, do you want to just introduce yourself for me and sort of talk me through how you originally got into starting to play football?
Perfect. Well, I think you've mainly done everything for me, really. So, yeah, I'm a student currently in my final year at university at UCFB. I'm also, I create content mainly on TikTok. TikTok's kind of where it started for me. And I've always played football since probably quite later on, I think I was about 11. So, usually people start from really young. So, I was quite late going into it. But I just played for my local team. And then since then, I've always played growing up. But now I think I prefer the media side of football now. So that's kind of what the content creation and how that all started for me. And yeah, here I am today.
And Rukiah is also a big Manchester United fan, which she may not want to admit right now, but,
I
have to
know.
put that in there as
I've
well.
got to hide the flag.
And so I've known Rukiah for quite a few years now, and I've always known her as like a big football fan. And so when I wanted to do this episode, she was sort of the first person that honestly came to mind, really, especially knowing that you do a lot of content creation. It just seemed like a perfect little fit, to be honest.
Yeah.
But I don't know about you, but because I've never been a massive football person, as you know, Rukiah, and as the listeners might be starting to grasp, but I always found when trying to do football, whether that be in like PE classes or in my primary school, I even joined like an after school club for maybe only a couple of weeks. I can't remember exactly. But I always found that I struggled with football because I'd not really played it outside of school. I didn't have parents that were big football fans. And so
Yeah.
as a girl trying to start to play football, I was already felt like I was almost like 5, 6, 7, 8 years behind, even though I was still really young. Is that something you ever experienced because you started at 11? So that is maybe quite late that most people would regard for starting any sport. Have you ever
Yeah.
sort of experienced that kind of thing as well?
Yeah, 100%. I can relate to that because obviously both my parents aren't really football fans either. And football it was really thrown onto me. Like at school, I remember being sports captain, and then from there, you play every sport, and then I got selected to play for the women's football team. I thought, oh, okay, I've never played football before, like, okay, um, and I just really enjoyed it. I feel like I've always preferred team sports, and I liked the social aspect of going. I'm so loud. I'm laughing with all the girls. Like there really wasn't much football happening, but I feel like yeah, so going from that environment, I really felt like, oh, okay, like even though I might not be the best player on the pitch and people are ahead of me, like that's okay. I still went into every session and tried. And then from then on, I thought, right, I'm going to ask my parents like if I can join a team outside of school. And then, yeah, it kind of just progressed from that. But definitely, I would say just go for it anyway. 100%.
I kind of do wish that I had stuck with it a little bit more because, like, the same with you, I played
Yeah.
it in school, like in school classes, or like we had our women's football team as well. But like, we were just not competitive at all compared to the other
Yeah.
schools because we weren't like, I wasn't ever trained like in our PE classes. It was just here's a football and like off you go kind of
It's
thing.
run about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like there was never like any skills taught to us. It's kind of like, I don't know if it was expected that we knew the skills or whether they just couldn't see the benefit in teaching us the skills. But either way,
Yeah.
I feel like we were disadvantaged because of that. And therefore, I sort of never had that interest in playing it at a younger age. And now I'm looking back now like, oh, I really wish like I could play like it. Like I
I
would love to be
know.
able to play now, but now I feel like I'm just too far gone.
No, honestly, start now.
Oh God, maybe I will. Well, I've started running since I did my running episode with Lucy a
Yeah.
few episodes back, so maybe I'll start football as well. Who knows?
You should. You should. Seriously.
And then, sort of looking forward now, like you said, you enjoy the media side of it a lot more, and you sort of play a lot less now. But what sort of encouraged that transition? Was it just sort of time at uni, or is it more that you wanted to combine that passion of media and sport and football at the same time?
I feel like it was mainly wanting to combine both at the same time. So when I joined uni, this because this is kind of where I started content creating like properly. I was still playing for the uni team, and that was all right. It wasn't as much football as like what you're used to at college level, and training 4 times a week. Like here, it was once a week, so I kind of just had loads of more spare time to do whatever. So, and then I also got into, obviously I'd always watched football, but being at this university, everyone is football mad. Everyone is talking about football. Like, you can't escape it. I mean, sometimes it's good, but it can get really annoying at times. But yeah, I couldn't escape it. Watching Man United, I thought, oh, I could just talk about this online and like make videos on it. And then it kind of just started from there. So first year, I was slowly posting. I still wasn't like speaking on camera or anything like that. And then it just kept on growing, and to where I am today, like, yeah, it is crazy to look back. But I feel like, yeah, the media side of football kind of happened for me when I slowly got into uni and started realizing I could have a bit more free time, I guess.
And for those of you listening, I've just realised you might not all know what UCFB is, but
Oh,
it
yeah.
is probably the most football-oriented university in the country.
Yeah.
It's based at Wembley. I think they also have a Manchester office as well, but
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
it's a very much like footballing university from what I know of it.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it's interesting that you went there and almost started playing less football. I think that's kind of funny to think of. But,
yeah.
And then sort of looking at how the women's football landscape has just changed massively in the last few years. How was it for you as a big football fan already, watching in 2022, seeing the Lionesses win the Euros? What did that feel like for you, really?
Honestly, I cried, like actually cried. I'm embarrassed to say, but I cried because it was just so surreal to me. I was watching at home, right, in my room on my TV. First of all, I'm thinking this is crazy that it's on TV. Like, growing up, I did not see women's football anywhere, and like I'm not old. Like I don't think I'm old. Like to me, it was crazy. And then for them to win it, I don't know. I just got really emotional. I was like, wow, like women are doing this, and people do care. And I think we have to thank the Lionesses for a lot, because I feel like if it wasn't for that Euros, it wouldn't have progressed to where women's football is now. I mean, you've got Sky Sports extending their deal with the WSL, and things are just really moving up. So I'm so happy. It makes me smile so much. I just hope it grows more, And I feel like more and more girls are getting into not even just playing, but like the media side of football. There's more girls. When I first joined UCFB, majority male, like
Wow.
students. Like my class, there's 4 girls, 4 or 5 girls, 5 girls including me, which again is so small. Like the majority of people here are men. It's still a male-dominated industry, but to see women doing their thing, I love it, and I'm here for it. So yeah.
We've definitely seen so much of an increase, like you said, not just in like women and girls actually playing football, but just whether it be like supporting it, spectating it,
Yeah.
getting their friends involved, like going with their friends to a game. Like I absolutely love it. And especially in the content creation space, there are so many young women, especially on like TikTok and Instagram, creating women's football content.
Yeah.
And I absolutely love to see it. And I actually quite like that it has a different vibe to the men's football side. Like obviously I'm not the biggest football fan in the world ever anyway, but I feel like the women's football side of it feels a lot more, I guess, welcoming to new people, because it's only sort of come on this massive uptake only recently anyway. And so not everyone knows every single little thing about every single little detail. And it's a much more friendly and welcoming environment from what I see of it as well. Not that the men's one is bad, but it has its...
Could do with some improvement.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Whereas the women's side definitely feels like if you wanted to just go along to a game for fun, you could, and you wouldn't feel like out of place, you wouldn't feel like an imposter. And I absolutely love that. And it genuinely just makes me feel, like you said, so happy to see that is changing, and experiences maybe like mine where young girls feel like almost like they can't maybe play football because it's not their thing and they don't already know it naturally. That's changing, and so many more girls are playing it, and I think that's so cool to see, to be honest.
Yeah, 100%.
And then sort of looking especially at the WSL, like you said, Sky have just extended their deal. What do you think that might bring to the game, and the women's game specifically?
Definitely. I think it starts with, like we said, school. I feel like in the curriculum, the whole curriculum could change really, where more girls are allowed to play football in PE. I mean, we didn't really play it much. We did like towards the end of school, but like I remember year seven and stuff, we still weren't really playing football. So, and also just that like visibility. I think visibility is everything. Like I think if you can't see yourself playing, you're not gonna know necessarily, and you're not gonna aspire to do that. Like when I was growing up, I didn't really see any like I barely saw women's football on TV. I thought, oh, this can't really be a job for me. I'm kind of gonna have to go to uni and get my head down and do the work. But it really can be, and I really hope that more girls see that. And it's I again I love it, and I hope more broadcasters and media outlets follow, because they need the visibility at the end of the day, and there's room for men and women. It's not just men's football. So yeah.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a really important thing you just said there, like that there is room for both. Like it doesn't have
Yeah.
to be that women's football is taking away from men's football. It's like, no, we just want to like share the space. And that doesn't
Exactly.
mean that men's football is less important or what, or is going to get less things. It's like, no, it just means that we both get a little bit of it. And that's like
Yeah.
fundamentally it's going to be better for everyone going forwards. And then sort of looking at maybe at grassroots level, you said about how hopefully like the curriculums are going to start to change, and obviously I can see that it probably is already happening. I don't have any younger siblings, so I'm
Yeah.
not sure, but I can imagine in schools already there are a lot more young girls going to their teachers and saying that we want to play football, or being more
Yeah.
actively involved when they do get to play it in class as well. And so what do you have any sort of hopes for what you would like to see in maybe like the next 5 years or so? Kind of putting you on the spot a little bit there, but
Oh,
have you
let
got
me think.
anything
This
that
is
you're
tough.
like, in 5 years' time, I'd love to see this happen in the women's game?
Oh, for me, I feel like I'd love kind of like what Arsenal women are doing at the minute, where they've got their women's team playing almost every game at the Emirates. I feel like that's needed for. It can be possible for every WSL team. I want Man United women playing at Old Trafford as well. Like it's not just. I feel like Arsenal are kind of the leaders in that aspect. So in 5 years, I want to be seeing that a lot more. Um, I don't know in terms of. Oh, I'm trying to think of what else. Because I feel like we are progressing slowly. Maybe in terms of like media and like punditry and things like that, more ex women football players. They've got so many stars in the game. I feel like they can also have that platform and speak, and they deserve to be there as well. Because I always see it's not the same sort of level and things like that. That argument, but yeah, I feel like there's room for them to be there as well. So definitely, those are my two big things, and I feel like they're both doable. Like I don't think that's too crazy. I mean, some of
No,
it's already happening.
they
So
definitely are doable, I think. And
yeah,
especially as also, I think as we get that, we'd also get more equity in pay as well, which I think is going to be so
yeah,
important going forwards, because like one of the things you said earlier, like you have to be able to, if you want to be a professional player at the best game, at the best in your game,
yeah,
you need to be able to live off that salary as a professional player.
yeah,
You can't just be semi-professional and sort of working part-time here or there to pay the bills. If we want
yeah,
the women's game to be the same or as good as allegedly as the men's game, then first of all we need to remember that women weren't allowed to play for a very, very long time. That's a very
yeah,
important fact there.
yeah,
But also women aren't all paid as well, so how are they supposed to be as good when a lot of men's footballers are getting paid ridiculous salaries, whereas the women are still only
yeah.
getting, like top women's footballers I believe are still only getting about 40 grand a year, which is
I know. I don't know if you saw
shocking.
Lucy Bronze's
Yeah.
she put out a post saying she can't retire on the money that she's got now after her career, Chelsea, Barcelona, City. Like if a man had that same career, he would be able to retire in like 5 years, less than that, something stupid. So again, it's shocking, like because she is one of the biggest women's footballers that I know, and someone that I've looked up to for so many years. So yeah, that just shocked me. Sorry to
No,
interrupt.
no, no. It really took me back as well because, like you said, like she is one of the biggest names in women's football, at least in England. And so I was like,
Yeah,
how can she not afford to retire? Like one of the best. Like it doesn't make sense because you think of, like you said, you think of
Yeah,
that level in men's football and they could easily retire unless they're like splurging their money on silly things. But
yeah,
like
yeah.
realistically, they could easily retire at pretty
Mhm.
early ages. And so to think of that comparison still, whilst it feels like we've made massive steps in women's football, it is still lagging
Yeah,
behind in certain areas, which I think is sad. But at the same time, we can't have it all happen at once, I guess. So it's having to have a little
yeah,
bit of patience, but at the same time, it very much feels like we're on the cusp of being like, oh my God, we're there, but not
yeah.
quite yet.
Almost
And
there.
it's like we've still got like
Yeah,
this massive like ravine to jump over to get there, but like you can see it
yeah.
and it's just there and it's so exciting.
So
But
true.
yeah, as like the media increases of it and sponsorship deals come in, like hopefully those salaries will go up and they should go up because, you know, that's how it
Yeah.
works. But
Hmm.
but that would be really
Yeah.
interesting to see actually in like 5 years' time. I would be so interested to see and think back on what the salaries actually are of WSL
Mm.
players, especially because, yeah, like right now they're appalling. And so I wonder in 5 years' time how much of a difference it'll have actually made, really.
Yeah.
Obviously, we both are sort of hoping to work maybe in media areas, but
Yeah.
what is it that you maybe hope to do as someone working in media to help maybe help inspire and motivate young girls wanting to get into football? Is that like a goal that you've got as well?
Yeah, 100%. I feel like even with my content, for the majority of the part, obviously I am a fan of women's football and men's football, but I mainly talk about the men's side, which I am trying to improve as well. I need to bring on the women as well, of course, but I feel like, yeah, I get a lot of messages now from women saying they love what I'm doing and just keep it up. Like they love seeing a woman talk about football, which to me is crazy. Like I'm just, I don't really think I do anything crazy or
Yeah, like to you, it's so
necessarily like,
normal.
yeah, like not necessarily inspiring, but for people to say that, I mean, I'm somehow going on the right track, I guess. But for me, yeah, I kind of just want that again, like we say, visibility in the media.
Mm.
So if I can, be that person for people to see that they can do it too, that would be amazing, and that would be a dream for me. And I just hope, yeah, I can do that one day for them.
Yeah, I definitely can see you doing that. But then another thing that kind of reminded me from what you've just said is that
Yeah,
I am very like strong in feeling, and I'm sure you're the same, but
yeah,
women, like women in sport media or sports football media, shouldn't just be like tied down to women's football. Like with this
yeah.
whole debate we've got going on now, by the way, guys, we're recording this on Friday, the 15th of November. The debate going on now of who's going to be the next match of the day host replacing Gary Lineker.
Hmm.
Obviously, Alex Scott, her name is in the mix,
Yeah,
but a lot of people, wrongly or rightly, you can make your own decision, feel that as a woman, she shouldn't be commenting on the men's game, which I just think is so ridiculous because it's
yeah,
still football at the end of the day. Like the premise of
yeah.
it is still the same. It's still a ball,
Exactly.
it's still a pitch, it's still the same number of players, it's still the same thing. It's
Yeah,
just men or women. So why can't a
yeah.
woman commentate on the men's game? And I think, like what you said, you make a lot of men's content already, and you get people messaging
Mm,
you saying that they really enjoy it, and especially women saying that they enjoy it. And I think that's a great way
yeah,
for women to get into the men's game is through women's content creation on the men's game because it feels
yeah,
more inviting and you feel maybe less like you're going to be taking the mick out of because it's like, oh, you should already
yeah,
know that. It's like that common thing
yeah,
of when a woman says she likes football, it's like, oh, explain the offside rules. Like,
yeah.
why do I have
All
to
the
justify
questions.
myself to you? Like,
Yeah,
why do
no,
I need to know what
exactly.
every single player in the whole Premier League has had for breakfast yesterday? Like, what does that
Yeah,
mean? Like, why
yeah.
do I need to know that? Um,
Honestly, it's so frustrating. I can't. But yeah,
I'd imagine you
100%.
go through it a lot. Maybe not so much
Mm,
at your uni because I'd like to think that everyone there
yeah,
also appreciates that you also know your stuff.
yeah,
But like just generally as a women's football fan, I can imagine it can be tough sometimes in
yeah.
that environment, especially in the men's football side, almost feeling
Hmm.
like you have to justify your being there. What's sort of your
Yeah.
experience around that? Have you had many sort of negative experiences like that?
Yeah, like you say, at uni, not so much. It's more so like meeting people outside of uni. So at work, sometimes, I mention, oh, I'm a football fan. Oh, for work, by the way, I'm a waitress, but like I
Mm.
work in like stadiums. So we're in a football environment still. So majority of the time I'm talking about what's going on in the game. And then I've had people come up to me and say, "Oh, you're a football fan," like, and then I had someone say, "Name 5 Man United players." I thought,
You could
what?
probably
Like,
do that in your sleep, like.
yeah, I was like, wait, what? Why would you ask a man that? Like, I literally
Yeah.
said, would you ask a man that? But yeah, but it's quite funny actually because that's kind of how I blew up on TikTok, I guess. I made a video, basically just explaining like these football terms that men think that women just have no clue on, and honestly, it was like you should have seen. It's like everyone went mad. They were like, "What? She knows this. She knows that." I'm like, yes, I guarantee there's probably a million other women that also know.
Yeah.
Like, it's not revolutionary. Like, you're not, I don't know. It's just so funny to me. But yeah, it definitely does still happen. Even to me, like, people who think that people who might have seen my content before still like, oh, do you know this? Like, are you actually sure what you're on about? Like, yeah, it happens.
And I do definitely think it's happening less, but it is definitely still there,
Yeah.
unfortunately. And then, so looking sort of forwards in the women's game now, obviously, we've said in the next like 5 years or so, we'd love for more sponsorship, more media, more money, the classic kind
Yeah.
of things. But
Yeah.
if there was, this is kind of another putting you on the spot one, but if there was one thing that you could change or take from the men's game and put to the women's game, what would it be?
Oh. Um. This is a hard question.
Sorry, yeah, it's quite a hard one.
No. No. Let me think. Let me think. What did I take from the men's game? Um. Oh, see, I'm not sure if this exists in the men's game, but it's kind of something that I would think about adding to the women's game. It's a minimum salary. So, like for WSL players, I feel like everyone should be able to live off
Yeah,
what they earn from football, 100%. Like there's no way that you even like championship. I feel like they should not be having to work another job to play football. So I feel like if like the FA could introduce a salary cap for women, like a minimum salary cap, that would be incredible. But yeah, like I said, I'm not sure that exists in the men's game. I'm sure they all
they
earn
all earn
more than
plenty
enough.
anyway, so
Yeah, exactly. I don't think they'll need that, but that is 100% something that I've considered, especially doing sports law,
yeah.
kind of looking at the governance side of it. Um, that was kind of one of the main reasons why I wanted to study sports law. It was like, oh, I want to, hopefully one day maybe introduce new governance for women's football that help the game and, bring it forward a bit more. So yeah, that's
I
kind of
love
what
that. I
I
think that's such a great way to sort of think about how you could maybe use your degree in future because, yeah, governance in
yeah.
women's football over the next decade or so is going to absolutely transform, I think. And
Yeah.
I think you're right in that perfect age of like, you're going to be coming into it with sort of like fresh eyes from the people that have already been working in like women's football or even just in football at all for like 10, 20,
Yeah.
30 years already. And you can sort of come in
Yeah.
with fresh new ideas based off of what you've learned as well, which I think is going to be so cool and so fundamental, honestly, and improving the game in general.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it really from today's podcast episode. I've
Yeah.
absolutely loved talking to you again, Rukiah. It's been so much
Thank you.
fun.
I love talking to you too.
And I hope that everyone listening has not necessarily learned something, but has been able to take something away from today's podcast about women's football, whether that be they want to watch more women's football in general, support women's players, women's content creators, however and whatever that is for you. But yeah, thank you guys for listening. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
And thank you. See you on the next episode. Bye.